Hey everyone, I hope you can hear me over my dishwasher, but I just thought I would make an update. It's been a little while and I've been asked by a couple people how it's going. Honestly, it feels weird to like do updates now that it's not like a necessarily TTC, but you know, I guess some of you are interested in other things too. So first and foremost, I will tell you that I did enroll in school. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I did or that I was going to last time, but I did enroll in school and I do start Thursday, which is about 6 days from now. And I am really excited. I had my orientation and I think it's gonna be really something that I'm gonna enjoy. I am going for medical assisting. I've always wanted to do something medical and I've always put it aside, and I've always worked with kids and like doing other things, and I just don't really want to anymore. So, and no, I haven't been back to work. I actually haven't been back to work since right before my miscarriage in May. It's a struggle because, you know, that's one income and we have 2 kids, and but it's been okay, and my husband's been really supportive, so you know, it's working out. And the program that I'm doing is only 7 months, so I'm hoping that I can get a job, you know, soon after. And I might actually still work my old job, just later hours for like 2 days a week, depending on what my kids' schedules are. I just haven't decided yet. Luckily, I have like a super boss, and she's willing to work with that if I need to. Now I'll talk about my thyroid. So I don't usually watch my videos, so I can't remember what I said last time, but I know I was talking about the thyroid storm, and I can't remember where I was with my thyroid blood work numbers. So I know obviously I started out hyper, and now then I went hypo because the meds were too high. So then they put me down a notch on the meds, and then that was okay. So basically I started off on methimazole 2 times a day, 10 milligrams 2 times a day. That was too much, so they took me down to 10 milligrams 1 time a day. And like last blood work I had, which was very recently, was perfect. Except for, of course, the TSI, which is the antibodies, which is what tells you if you have Graves' disease, and those never changed for me yet. I'm sure someday I'll go into remission, but I still have the antibodies. But as far as like TSH, T3, T4, whatever, all the thyroid things, they're perfect. And they asked me how I felt, because I had an endocrinologist appointment the other day, and I said, you know, I don't know, because like honestly I expected to feel a little better by this point, being that my numbers are perfect, but I don't. Like, I have massive heart palpitations still, and if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that that's something I've dealt with for a long time. And hot flashes on and off. Right now it's more sweating than anything, and heat intolerance, but the and hair loss from the medication. It just, you can see as I do this, it just falls out. And but I mean, my hair looks okay as far as like, it doesn't look super thin. And the doctor did say that they would, you know, that would usually go away, like as you get used to the medication. So so they actually lowered my dose again, because their goal is to get you on the lowest dose that they can, and they lowered it to 5 milligrams once a day. And that actually, I just started that today. And I did talk to my doctor, and they are wanting me to destroy my thyroid with radiation, and that actually scares me. And I know it's stupid. It doesn't scare me necessarily. It's just a lot. I don't know how, like, I'll do that and go to school, because I'm only allowed a certain amount of days off. And I know that when you have radiation, like, you can't be in your house. I'm not opposed to killing my thyroid. I know that people will say, oh no, you should keep your thyroid. Like, honestly, the thyroid storm that I just recovered from almost took my life, and the reason they don't want me to relapse at all. And I understand that, and I don't want to relapse. Like, I don't want to die. I don't want to, like, risk anything. And another thing with the radiation is that you can't try to conceive for like a year after the radiation. And as you all know, I am 36 and I have one ovary, and I've had issues conceiving in the past, and I just don't know what to do, because honestly, me and my husband, we do want to have another baby. And say you can, I know you can do like pregnancy safely on certain medications, but my doctor doesn't necessarily recommend that for me, because she said, you know, it's not the pregnancy that they would worry about being on the medication as much as it is that after you give birth is when you tend to relapse, and they don't want me to relapse. And so if you're hypo, there is honestly less of a risk for yourself and the baby. It's still risky. I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess right now we're gonna do another blood draw at the end of this month and see how I'm doing on the 5 milligrams. You know, we talked about that. People ask why not thyroid surgery. I guess they don't like to do that for hyper as much as they used to. And there's different risks with that. Now, I think I'd rather have the surgery, but you know, my doctor is good and I trust them. I don't know. We'll see. I might ask if I can stay on the medication for a little longer and try to like decide, but I don't know. So, yeah, so as far as like a cycle update, I actually have, my cycle has always been quite normal. And when I had this miscarriage, I had a normal period 5 weeks later, which is normal. And then I had the thyroid storm soon after that. And during the thyroid storm, I did have a period. My husband told me that. I was mortified. I'm like, oh, but it wasn't when I was supposed to have a period. He said, when they told me that you had a period, we're having your period, I told them, well, she just had one. And they were like, well, you know, after a miscarriage, that can happen. Well, in my opinion, it might have had more to do with the thyroid storm, because that really messes with like every body system you have. So either way, after I left the hospital, I actually was late for my period, but it did come and it was normal. And then I had another after like 22 days. So it's a little messed up. And so now I actually bought some ovulation tests just to see if I could track my ovulation a little, to more or less avoid, but also just to know if my cycle, if I am ovulating or if like things are okay. So I actually got a positive ovulation test on cycle day 9, I think which is really early, which means I probably ovulated cycle day 10, maybe 11, which right now puts me at about a week past ovulation. On a hunch, I did a pregnancy test the other day. You know, when I went to the hospital, which was about, I think it was about 6 weeks after my D&E with the last loss, they said that my pregnancy test was positive, and my husband was like, well, she just miscarried. And so they chalked it up to that. And they did a regular ultrasound and stuff to check for retained tissue, and there wasn't any on a regular ultrasound. But for those of you who've been following me for a while, you'll know that with my last loss, I did have retained tissue, and it wasn't found for like 4 months. Well, guess what? It's been 4 months since this loss. I would have thought having a D&E that would not you leave behind tissue, but I don't know. So I did a pregnancy test, not to see if I was pregnant, because I was only like 5 days past ovulation, and I know that wouldn't show, but just to see if it was positive, like the last time I miscarried. Well, it was, and it was faint, but there. And I can show you this test, and it's been dried for like 2 days, so it really, but I want you to see about how dark it is, and it's not real dark. So this is what came up, and it does look a little different because it's dried, but it came up within the time range. And I'm very concerned because, you know, everyone will tell you, oh, it's a new pregnancy. Well, yeah, it could be a new pregnancy, but I would have only been 5 days past ovulation. And I went through this before, so I'm pretty confident that I know what's going on, and I just can't believe, like, so I think I'm gonna have to, like, check it out, like, you know, go to the doctor. I just don't even want to. This is just such a nightmare. But anyway, so I will update you guys on that. So just to make this shorter, I guess, I'm just gonna tell you, like I said, in summary, my thyroid levels are good. I'm still trying to decide what to do as far as like long term. I do want to get rid of it. I can't go through another thyroid storm like that. It was awful. I almost died. Like, I can't leave my family. You know, but I still have a lot of like figuring out to do. So, I will update you guys. I might take another pregnancy test and see. I've always had trouble with this brand. Not always, but when I had retained tissue, it would show on this brand and First Response. So I might get a different brand and see what that one says, because I am concerned. I mean, I had a D&E. It was a surgery. They should have gotten rid of everything. I haven't had the spotting like I did last time that kind of told me that something was wrong. I've been just a little irregular. Other than that, everything's been fine. So I'm a little concerned, but I mean, it's been 4 months. I shouldn't have a positive pregnancy test anymore. And I didn't give vaginal birth like I did last time, so I don't know. But anyway, I will update you guys. I would like to say that I'm going to try to do it more often. I'm going to say that again. I hope to do it more often, but I feel like I don't have as much to update on. So I will talk to you guys later. And thanks for everyone who's checked up on me, and I will inform you when I can on what's going on.